The rain hadn't stopped all afternoon. It tapped against the windows like impatient fingers, each drop echoing through the quiet house. Inside, 10-year-old Lily sat cross-legged on the living room floor, staring at the gray sky beyond the glass. No Wi-Fi, no cartoons. This is the worst, Max groaned, tossing his toy car across the carpet. The idea instantly brightened Max's face. It was their go-to game when storms knocked the power out. Their parents were gone for the evening, visiting relatives across town, leaving the two kids home alone with the howling wind and flickering lights. Max grinned. Okay, but you count first. The playful argument made the house feel warmer, almost normal again. Lily looked around for the perfect hiding spot, somewhere she hadn't used before. Behind the couch? Too obvious. Inside the laundry room? Too small. Then her eyes drifted toward the narrow door beneath the stairs. The basement. A place they were never supposed to go alone, but maybe that made it perfect. Bet you'll never find me, Lily teased, sprinting toward the door before Max could protest. The hinges groaned as she pulled it open. A cool, musty breeze met her face, carrying the scent of damp wood and something faintly metallic. She hesitated for a second, then smiled. The concrete steps creaked beneath her feet as she descended, her shadow stretching long and crooked against the walls. Max's voice called from upstairs. Lily grinned, crouching behind a stack of dusty boxes at the far end of the basement. The bulb swung slightly, casting uneven light across the floor. She waited, holding her breath. The house moaned softly in the wind above her. Somewhere in the shadows, a drop of water fell. Plink. And then, a whisper. Lily. She froze. Max? She whispered back. No answer. Only the faint hum of the light bulb and the sound of slow, careful breathing coming from somewhere in the dark. Her knees pressed into the cold concrete floor, her hands trembling slightly. Trying to scare her. That's exactly what he'd do. Whisper her name just to make her jump. Max, she said again, this time louder, trying to sound brave. Silence. Then, creak. 1, 2, 3 steps. Slow. Careful. Almost deliberate. That wasn't how Max moved. He always thundered down the stairs like a herd of elephants. Max, stop messing around, she shouted, peeking out from behind the boxes. The bulb above her flickered. For a split second, the basement was pitch black. Then the light came back on, and she swore she saw a figure standing in the far corner, just beyond the reach of the light. Tall, still, watching. Then the bulb flickered again. Once, twice. And when it steadied, the corner was empty. Lily's hands were sweating now. Her mind tried to make sense of it. Maybe it was the shadows. Maybe she imagined it. The air felt thicker, heavier, like the whole room was holding its breath with her. Okay, Max, you win, she said nervously, forcing a laugh. I'm coming out. But before she could move, she heard another sound, one that froze her mid-step. It was coming from behind the shelves, the same place she thought she saw the figure. Just that same slow drag. And then, a whisper so close it felt like it came from right behind her ear. The bulb buzzed once more, then burst with a sharp pop, plunging the basement into darkness. For a moment, Lily couldn't even hear her own breathing, only the ringing echo of the light bulb's pop. Then slowly, she became aware of the sound again, short, uneven gasps shaking out of her chest. She forced her eyes open wide as if straining could somehow make the darkness less complete. It didn't help. The basement was an endless black void now, thick and alive with quiet noises. Lily crouched low, her fingers brushing against the cold floor, feeling for something familiar. The steps, the wall, anything. Only a faint, rhythmic sound. Tap, 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 like someone's fingernail lightly brushing the concrete floor. Then, out of nowhere, a whisper came again, closer this time, right beside her ear. Don't hide! Lily's scream got caught in her throat. She stumbled backward, bumping into a pile of boxes that toppled with a crash. Dust filled the air, and in that cloud of faint gray, she thought, just for a second, she saw someone's face staring back at her. Pale, smiling. She scrambled on her hands and knees, her fingers finding the cold edge of a wooden shelf. She followed it, crawling fast, until her hand hit something warm, the bottom step of the staircase. She exhaled in relief. The way out. But then faintly through the silence, she heard a voice. not the whisper. This time it was clear, small, frightened. Max swallowed hard. "I heard you laughing. From the kitchen. That's why I came out." Her stomach dropped. She had been in the basement the whole time. Before she could respond, a loud thud came from behind the basement door. Both kids turned toward it, eyes wide. Heavier this time, the sound of something hitting the stairs. The door creaked open wider, even though neither of them moved. Lily grabbed Max's arm. "Run," she whispered. They backed away, step by step, as the door slowly swung all the way open. Then, a shape appeared at the bottom of the basement stairs. Faint, almost blending into the shadows. It was tall, its body twisted, its head tilted at an impossible angle. Lily's breath caught in her throat. The thing didn't climb, it just stared. It took a single, jerky step upward. They bolted into the living room, the floor creaking under their feet. Behind them, the sound of slow, dragging footsteps grew louder. The thing was coming up the stairs. "Hide," Lily whispered, pulling Max behind the couch. The living room light flickered again. Once, twice, before going completely dark. In the silence that followed, they could hear it breathing. Lily covered Max's mouth, trying not to make a sound. Her pulse roared in her ears. Then, from the dark, the voice came again, distorted and wrong. Lily's lungs burned as she held her breath. Every second felt endless. The thing was moving, slow, dragging steps circling the room. She could hear it brushing against the furniture, the faint sound of its uneven breathing echoing in the dark. Max was trembling beside her, tiny whimpers slipping through his hands. Lily squeezed his arm. "Don't move." The smell, damp, metallic, and wrong, filled their noses. The faint scrape of claws against wood. The silence shattered as Max couldn't hold it anymore. A small gasp escaped him. Then, slowly, the shape rose over the back of the couch. Its face, pale, slick, and half-shadowed, hovered inches away. Empty eyes. A wide grin. She grabbed Max's arm and bolted, crashing through the darkness toward the hallway. The sound of heavy footsteps thundered behind them. Fast now, desperate. Without thinking, she ran past it and toward the front of the house. The knob rattled in her sweaty hand, locked. "No!" she cried, twisting harder. "It won't open!" The creature was halfway down the hall, crawling along the floor in jerky, spider-like movements, its limbs cracking with each step. Lily ran to the kitchen, maybe the back door. Max started crying. "What is it? What does it want?" Lily didn't answer. She grabbed a flashlight off the counter and flicked it on. There, smeared in something dark and wet, were words. Lily's voice cracked. "We have to get upstairs. Go!" Behind them, the creature shrieked, a broken, inhuman sound that rattled the walls. Lily turned back just in time to see it crawling up after them. Faster than before, its face twitching, its limbs bending the wrong way. She yanked Max into their parents' room and slammed the door. The floorboards creaked, a tune so soft, so childlike. It made Lily's skin crawl. It was the same melody their mom used to hum when they were scared of storms. The humming grew louder, deeper, until the whole room seemed to vibrate with it. He was shaking uncontrollably, silent tears streaming down his cheeks. From under the bed, she saw a shadow move across the floor. Slow and warped, it stopped just inches from where they hid. The sound of breathing filled the room. A pause that stretched forever. The shadow shifted again, and suddenly something heavy dropped to the floor. The thing crouched low, its head lowering toward the edge of the bed frame. Lily could hear its joints crack as it bent, bones grinding together like wood splintering. A whisper right above the floorboards. Lily screamed and rolled out from under the bed, dragging Max with her. The thing lunged. Its hand grazed her ankle again, cold and slick. She kicked free, pulling Max toward the door. They bolted down the hallway, tripping and stumbling, the creature's footsteps pounding after them. The whole house groaned as if it were alive, the lights flickering violently. "Run, Max!" she cried, pushing him ahead. "Go, go, go!" They reached the stairs, but when Lily looked down, she froze. From the darkness below, a soft yellow glow pulsed, like the flicker of that same broken bulb, and over the hum of the storm outside, she heard it again. The lullaby. Only this time, two voices were singing it. With a thunderous slam, the upstairs windows burst open. The wind howled through, knocking over picture frames, slamming doors. The floorboards shook beneath their feet. Then, One by one, the hallway lights went out. "Lily?" Max's voice quivered. "It's calling us. Whatever's down there, it wants us to play. That's all it wants." They turned to run toward their parents' room again, but the basement steps began to creak. Lily grabbed Max and pulled him into the corner. The basement door slowly swung wider. A shape appeared at the top of the stairs, tall, twisted, and grinning. But then, another smaller shape appeared beside it, a child-sized silhouette. The smaller one tilted its head and spoke in a voice that made Lily's blood freeze. For a brief moment, she saw both faces clearly, one that looked almost human, and one that looked exactly like her. Dark, quiet, and filled with things we were never meant to uncover. For Lily and Max, what started as a simple game of hide and seek turned into something far darker. A game that didn't end when the lights came back on. A game that waited. Neighbors still talk about that house. How on stormy nights the porch light flickers even though no one lives there anymore. How if you walk by after midnight, you can hear children laughing from below. So if you ever hear that faint humming from your own basement,